Tonight, a heartbroken father's brave return to the Perth hospital where his toddler son died. His mission this hour for answers. New cost of living pain for West Aussies as home loan debt hits record highs. Michael Mosley's wife pays tribute to her brilliant husband as new detail emerges. A King's birthday honour for the pandemic premiere. And the heat is on as our best swimmers dive into action for Olympic selection. Plus, a superstar ensemble take the big freeze plunge at the MCG.
This is 9 News Perth with Michael Thomson.
Good evening. The father of Shondapon Dar has met with medical professionals at Joondalup Health Campus today, seeking answers over his son's death. The toddler had been taken to the hospital by his parents, but they maintain their requests for blood tests were ignored.
Shonjoy Dar returning to Joondalup Health Campus just 11 weeks after his little boy died there.
We just want my son should get the justice, and as a family we deserve that.
The father meeting with Ramsay health officials as the hospital investigates how it cared for Shondapon Dar. He was just 21 months old when he passed away there in March. His parents say they had repeatedly asked GPs at Key Largo Medical Centre for blood tests. And when the toddler's fever persisted, they took him to Joondalup Health Campus. They say they requested tests again there at least 3 times, but they were sent home. 2 days later, they returned to the hospital where the toddler died. The Dar family has since learnt Shondapon had acute lymphoblastic leukemia, a blood cancer experts say has a more than 90% cure rate. Today, after a meeting lasting more than 90 minutes, Shonjoy Dar says he was presented with the hospital's version of events.
I was expecting that we should have got something concrete today, which we didn't. I'm not happy.
The father now tasked with working out whether he and his wife agree with the hospital's timeline. Today, standing firm to his claim, they asked for blood tests on multiple occasions.
I'm confused because where we are disagreeing, this is very clearly we mentioned several times. Say here the duty doctor didn't able to recall that we requested for blood test.
Jamie Freestone, 9 News.
The cost of living crisis isn't letting up, and now new analysis reveals home loan debt in WA is at record highs. The average new mortgage increasing by $60,000 in 8 months. As tonight, we lay bare the extent of our financial pain.
It's the record we didn't want to break. The average new mortgage in WA now nearly $540,000, the highest ever recorded by the Bureau of Statistics. Between September and April, it's jumped nearly $8,000 a month.
Interest rate rises are expected to increase, and that will come as very, very scary news for West Australian families, many who are already living on the brink.
New analysis from WA Senator Dean Smith, part of the federal inquiry into the cost of living.
Inflation is the number one economic ill. We see it played out in the deterioration of people's savings, the value of their household income, and of course we see it played out with very, very high interest rates.
WA Council of Social Services says it's now different voices asking for help.
Including people with mortgages. Traditionally, before COVID, we would never see those people in our system.
We're doing what we can for both governments in relation to household energy credits and also for small business. So we're doing that. We've got the student assistance payments.
When it comes to mortgage stress, Byford is ground zero. This suburb ranks number 1 nationally when it comes to the highest rate of homes behind on their mortgage payments.
We don't believe it's going to start getting better anytime soon.
1 in 20 mortgages in Byford has fallen behind. Tough times for those trying to get ahead. Michael Genovese, 9 News.
The wife of Dr. Michael Mosley says her husband was wonderful, funny, kind and brilliant after his body was found on a Greek island. Local media made the grim discovery just metres from a beach bar packed with holidaymakers.
On the 5th day of searching, a devastating discovery. The body of doctor and TV presenter Michael Mosley. Found on a steep, rocky slope just above a beach on the Greek island of Simi. The 67-year-old was reported missing last Wednesday. This is what we now know about his final movements. Michael Mosley left his wife on St Nicholas Beach at 1:30 in the afternoon, walking to the village of Paddy, where he's first captured on CCTV around 1:50. 10 minutes later, he passes through Paddy Marina. He should have taken an inland path to his accommodation, but he heads in the wrong direction, up a mountain track in scorching heat. That terrain is so treacherous, a police officer broke his leg navigating it. It's believed Michael eventually collapsed. His body was found just 80 metres from the Aegea Marina beach resort. Ultimately, it was a television cameraman who spotted it through a long lens.
We took a photo of the screen with an iPhone, we zoomed it in, and you can clearly see there is a man lying down. Really sad. As I said, I wish we had better news for the family.
From his wife, Dr. Claire Bailey, a heartbreaking message. It's devastating to have lost Michael, my wonderful, funny, kind and brilliant husband. Michael was an adventurous man. It's part of what made him so special.
Born in India but raised and educated in Britain, Dr. Mosley began his television career as a producer in the 1980s. He eventually took his talents in front of the camera and into living rooms all around the world.
Today, tributes for the man behind the famous 5-2 fasting diet. From Jamie Oliver, absolutely devastating news. What a wonderfully sweet, kind and gentle man. One of Dr. Mosley's final projects, working with Australians to improve our sleep.
He had a great sense of humour, he was down to earth, exactly how he appears on camera. He's very much going to be missed by not just my team, but everyone who interacted with him or read one of his books or watched one of his programs.
Work that changed lives, now his legacy. In London, Edward Godfrey, 9 News.
The search for a 47-year-old surfer off Prevelly has been called off. Aaron Beveridge was last seen at Surfers Point in the southwest on Friday. A sea search for the father of 3 suspended due to dangerous weather conditions. His father Don today confirming the news, saying, "On Friday, our son, brother, father, friend Aaron Beveridge went for a surf in his favourite place in Margaret River. Unfortunately, he never returned." Daughter Shane posting this photo with the simple caption, "No words." The lawyer for a Hallshead mother charged over the deaths of her twin daughters in a wheatbelt crash says she is struggling. She was due in court today over the February accident, as Sarah Smith explains.
Rachel Lisa Van Ooyen didn't appear here in person today at Northern Magistrates Court, a lawyer saying she is struggling with the process. The 31-year-old charged with 2 counts of careless driving causing death. Her 7-year-old twin girls, Macy and Riley, were killed when the car they were travelling in veered off the road and struck a tree on Great Eastern Highway in Carrabin near Merredin on the morning of February 18. Police say Rachel Lisa Van Ooyen was behind the wheel, taken to hospital and later discharged, and that everyone was wearing a seatbelt. The trio had been travelling back to their home in Hall's Head, having visited family in Kalgoorlie. A GoFundMe so far raising more than $50,000 for the mother, who has since updated her Instagram bio to read, "Never forgotten, forever loved. I will never stop loving you, my precious girls." Rachel Lisa Van Ooyen is due back before the courts in August. The matter adjourned so she can seek legal advice.
A High Court detainee who allegedly bashed a Girraween grandmother has been hit with fresh charges. Majid Jamshidi Dukush Khan and his 3 co-accused all face court today in relation to the April attack on Ninette Simons. Dukush Khan now charged with possessing methamphetamine and drug without a prescription in the days before the alleged bashing. It's been a while, a little over a year, since Mark McGowan made headlines for quitting as WA Premier. Today, he's being recognised for his work to keep the state safe during the pandemic, named on the King's birthday honours list.
He was once Australia's most popular Premier, our state daddy.
It's not the oddest thing that's happened to me in the last 2 years, but it's up there.
Today, a new and different title. Mark McGowan, now a Companion of the Order of Australia, for his service to the people of WA, Parliament and, unsurprisingly, public health as COVID-19 infected the globe.
In effect, we'll be turning Western Australia into an island within an island.
It was his tough stance on the virus that sent his popularity soaring back in 2020 through to 2022. He kept a hard WA border for almost 700 days, a strategy said to have saved lives but also caused extreme anxiety.
I'm sorry, I'm just struggling with the whole thing, the fact that because I don't understand how you can do that to a human being.
A confusing time too, WA's long list of restrictions prompting laughter in the midst of chaos.
Look, there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with going for a run. There's nothing wrong with going for a run and having a kebab.
Not everyone sang the praises of the pandemic premier. But he didn't shy away from his critics.
Gladys who? Oh, OK.
Is that all right?
Yeah, just making sure it's the right Gladys.
Now, a little over a year since he quit public life, today's recognition well received by his peers.
People recognise his capability, his hard work, his experience, but also his determination to make hard decisions in a difficult time.
And on 9 Perth's Facebook page, congratulations, you deserve knighthood. Today, the father of 3 stayed out of the spotlight, releasing instead a statement. I'm very humbled and honoured to have received this award. My deep gratitude goes to the people of WA for being so kind to me. Less kind is Victoria's reaction to their former Premier Dan Andrews, given the same King's Birthday honour today.
Can he deserve it?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Terrible Premier.
I think he's ridiculous. I think he did wrong by Melbourne.
In Western Australia, the former Premier there got an award, an AC. He retired a year ago, but he left his state in a better condition than he inherited. Daniel Andrews quite the reverse.
Among other recipients, Auntie Beryl, who cooked for Prince William in Redfern, recognised for decades of work training her mob in hospitality.
Because it is an honour for especially me, because I've lived through the hard times.
And 90-year-old Dr Laurie Upfold.
I was flabbergasted.
He became an audiologist in the 60s, helping pioneer hearing tests for infants and later working on the hearing aid.
I didn't believe that it would do the job it was supposed to do, but it did.
Household names are in the mix. Glenn McGrath can now add AO to his accolades.
A huge thank you for this award. It really is a big honour.
15 years since the first pink test for breast cancer in memory of wife Jane.
I think she'd be really proud to look around and see everyone supporting it.
Hamish Blake thanked for making Australia smile.
Thank you.
Jimmy Rees too.
Oh, hi there, Perth. Let's see what you've got. A closed border.
Contributions to delight, inspire and guide us for generations to come. Brittany Hoskins, 9 News.
Our swimmers are our greatest chance for gold in Paris, and tonight the race is on as they compete for a spot on the Olympic team. Among them, world record holder Ariane Titmus, firing a warning shot in the first heat of the day.
The Australian swim trials are underway.
And an Olympic Games beckons. Event 1, the heats of the 400 metres freestyle. And the defending champion on a mission.
And Ariane Titmus certainly isn't cruising through the heat. She's almost half a second in front of world record time.
But Arnie took a foot off the pedal.
I tried to set up the first 3 laps of my race and then I switched off.
The first day of racing, and you understand why Australia is regarded as a superpower in world swimming. 5 events, 4 Olympic champions and 2 former world champions, all in action. 22-year-old Kaylee McEwen rules the pool in backstroke. She's eager to add the 200 individual medley to her resume.
And the big names will just keep on coming here.
Emma McKeon, Australia's most successful swimmer, fastest qualifier in the 100 metres butterfly.
It's a great swim.
And looking Paris-bound, Zach Stubblety-Cook arrived in Brisbane as the Olympic champion in the 200 metres breaststroke. But a 26-year-old from Melbourne, Samuel Williamson, announced himself in the 100.
Here's a crack time, 58.95.
They're pretty stoked, not bad for the morning. Blow the cobwebs out, keep them honest and just see what I can do, really.
In the 400 metres freestyle, the favourites Elijah Winnington,
very strong heat swim,
and Sam Short will battle it out in tonight's final. He may be a former world champion, but Sam concedes here he's just another face in the crowd.
It's amazing. I mean, you walk around pool deck and you see legends everywhere you look.
In Brisbane, Damien Ryan, 9 News.
For a brief moment today, some sporting legends were the headline act at the MCG. Former West Coast Eagle Nick Natalia went cool running style down the icy slide, but couldn't upstage Neil Danaher and his MND fight.
Try as the sliders might, Nick Natalia, cool runnings! There's no bigger rock star on King's birthday than Neil Danaher.
For him to be here by my side, it's so special.
Still at the top of the slide a decade on, he helped kick off the party that was Big Freeze 10.
Meg Lanning goes down the slide. Tina Turner under the water.
Jack Revolt channelled his one-time Killers bandmate Brandon Flowers. Sally Pearson brought Madonna back to the G, while Joel Selwood did the same with Robbie Williams.
Let us entertain you, here he goes!
Erin Phillips dyed her hair to become pink. James Brayshaw was almost unrecognisable as Guns N' Roses frontman Axl Rose. And swimming star Mac Horton had the power and the passion of Peter Garrett.
From Midnight Oil, used to the pool, not so big this one, and he's come up doing all of the moves.
It's been a while since Pat Rafters wowed a Melbourne crowd, but the tennis greats still got it. Sliding last is AC/DC frontman Brian Johnson.
3, 2, 1, away he goes!
It's been going for 10 years and I always wanted to do it, so I'm glad I did it.
It's 14 degrees here at the MCG, but inside that pool, it's a chilly top of 1. Any colder and the pool would freeze over.
We're in there for 10 seconds, it's all right, you know, we can deal with that, I think.
Today's fight against the Beast wasn't just about the big freeze, with Neil himself rallying the troops at Fed Square pre-game. Melbourne and Collingwood fans then marched together to the G, right alongside the Danaher family.
Neil must be chuffed, you know, just to see the support that's around him, and by golly, we need it. We still haven't found that cure yet.
While they're confident of hitting the $3 million fundraising target, picking a favourite slider is a little harder.
I think Erin as pink is pretty good, and Pat bringing home, you know, he's always ready to be a big performer.
And for Neil Danaher, the show goes on. Nathan Curry, 9 News.
Tens of thousands of electric cars as far as the eye can see, and they are destined down under. The China-US trade fight is a big win for West Australian motorists, with new EV models flooding the market cheaper than ever. Your guide to the best brands still to come this hour. Some sunny days are ahead this week after a wet weekend. Natalia Cooper, has the rain reached our farmers?
Yes, it has. Good evening to you, Tomo. Many farming areas receiving falls over the weekend, and there's the chance of more showers over the next couple of days. It was a cloudy Monday in Perth. After a low overnight of 15.2, we climbed to a top of 20.1 at 10 to 1 this afternoon. Around the metro area in the 24 hours to 9 this morning, Bickley picked up a nice 33 millimetres of rain. 6 millimetres was recorded in the city gauge. An 83 km/h wind gust was reported at Rottnest Island overnight, while Garden Island had an 82 km/h gust. A couple of showery days ahead, then a sunny break. I'll have the full forecast later, Tomo.
Some sunshine sounds good. Natalia, thank you. Australia's first anti-vaping campaign hits the airwaves next. Why kids are the prime target. An elderly man's alleged fast ride in the wheat belt. How fast police say he was going. A tourist Bali rampage accused of crashing through a toll gate in a stolen truck. And later, internet prices about to rise. The simple step that can land you big savings. An elderly man has been charged with reckless driving after allegedly being caught behind the wheel of a Lamborghini travelling at 190 kilometres an hour in the wheat belt. The 76-year-old has been forced to surrender his Lamborghini Gallardo and will face court next month. TikTok is being used to persuade millions of Australians to give up smoking and vaping. It's the nation's first anti-smoking campaign in more than a decade. It takes the unusual angle of linking smoking to social harms.
They're scenes from the suburbs stopping our society going up in smoke.
Vaping addiction can creep up on you. And before you know it, it can be hard to resist its pull.
Nearly $64 million will be spent on the campaign across television, radio, gaming and social media, targeting more than 3 million Australians who vape or smoke.
Vaping. Are you really choosing anymore?
It is simply not responsible for government to continue to vacate an area where young Australians are getting so much of their information.
2 sets of vaping laws are already through the Parliament. Tonight, the government confident they have the support for a third package targeting sales, supply, manufacturing and possession of non-therapeutic vapes. The Nationals want regulation over condemnation.
The prescription model hasn't worked. I signed up to that when I was in government and I got it wrong.
The kind of regulation that the Nationals are pushing is an absolute joke and it's totally discredited.
Schools have become a surprise frontline in this battle against vapes. Teachers and parents say policing the problem can be difficult.
But we started buying our own and doing it in private. Or was it in secret?
The new commercials target kids, but lawmakers and health officials are realistic about the size of the fight ahead.
It's distressing to report that we have received calls to our quit line from children as young as 12.
We have this new public health menace of vaping, which is so deliberately and cynically targeted by big tobacco at hooking a new generation onto nicotine addiction. And the tragedy is it's working.
Charles Croucher, 9 News.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faces mounting pressure after a key member of his war cabinet quit. Comes as Israel defends its hostage rescue operation, the death toll climbing to 274 Palestinians, 64 of them children.
A moment of silence on the streets of central Gaza to mark the deadliest day in 6 months. In Tel Aviv, mounted police and water cannons deployed on thousands demonstrating against Benjamin Netanyahu's government, his coalition in crisis today with a blow from the inner circle. War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz announcing his resignation. Unfortunately, Netanyahu prevents us from progressing to the real victory. Gantz accused him of mismanaging the war, putting his own political survival over the country's security needs, and called for the Israeli Prime Minister to agree to an election date. Do not let our people be torn apart. Despite the successful rescue of 4 hostages yesterday, the human cost is becoming clearer. 274 Palestinians dead, according to the Gaza Health Ministry, including 64 children.
They wiped out Nusrat. It is hell on earth.
Hamas claims 3 other hostages were killed in the operation, including an American citizen. Claims that both Israel and the United States deny.
Every civilian life lost in this war is a tragedy. Every civilian life lost in this war as a result of how Hamas has operated.
Insisting there was no US involvement, the White House declined to say whether it was comfortable with the operation.
Innocent people were tragically killed in this operation.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said there has been too much loss of life on both sides.
I reiterate the call for Hamas to release all of the hostages unconditionally, and I reiterate our support for President Biden's peace proposal.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken will return to Israel this week, pushing that proposal for a ceasefire that cannot come soon enough. In the United States, Alison Petrowski, 9 News.
A 50-year-old British man is accused of stealing a truck and going on a rampage through Bali, smashing cars, crashing through a toll booth, and winding up at the international airport. It's alleged that Damon Hills assaulted the owner of the vehicle before getting behind the wheel and travelling to the departure terminal. He was arrested by airport security officers. No nose and a shattered cockpit windshield. This Austrian Airlines Airbus A320 has copped a battering. It was trying to land at Vienna Airport when it flew through a storm cloud and was pummeled by large hailstones. The aircraft was badly damaged, but fortunately no passengers were injured. Hundreds of thousands of green jobs for WA. A new funding boost today. The occupations in hot demand next. Cheaper electric vehicles flood in from China. Body cam of the moment a police raid comes to an explosive end. And prisoners train assistance dogs, Pedro and Pablo. WA needs 350,000 skilled workers over the next 25 years in order to reach net zero targets. Today, a $70 million funding boost to help us get there.
The government's road to clean energy is paved with employment opportunities.
Clean energy is happening. It's here now. There are jobs for the taking.
350,000 skilled workers are needed in WA to reach net zero by 2050. Making the list, electricians, engineers, plumbers, metal fitters and more, tasked to develop and build solar, wind, hydrogen and battery projects and run their ongoing operations. A new $70 million Clean Energy Skills National Centre of Excellence, training them to do just that.
We want to be seen as a clean energy superpower.
WA's first Clean Energy Skills Centre will be up and running in the CBD by this year, providing opportunities to TAFE campuses across the state to upskill workers for the clean energy future.
We simply do not have enough workers in this state.
Education isn't the only way to plug gaps. WA previously had 8,000 spaces for overseas skilled migrants. The Commonwealth slashing that number to less than 2,500. But today, a hint that cap will be lifted.
Those discussions with the West Australian Government is going to be very productive, I believe.
I'm hopeful that we'll be able to make some announcements soon around that.
Conor McGovern, 9 News.
Cars once made in Australia like Holden and Ford are being replaced by a wave of Chinese automakers. More than half a dozen have announced plans to sell electric vehicles here, and they'll be cheaper than almost anywhere else in the world.
A sea of electric cars all coming from one place. Hundreds of thousands of Chinese electric cars are now being bought each year in Australia, and the dam has burst. Many more are on the way. In the last month, 7 new Chinese car makers have announced they're on the way. Within the year, you'll see cars with these badges on Australian roads.
And it's not just Chinese brands, it's global brands building cars in China.
The battle is over. China is now the world's electric car powerhouse.
Year to date in 2024, over 80% of all electric vehicles sold in Australia were made in China.
And for political reasons, we're getting them cheaper than other countries. The death of the Australian car manufacturing industry has opened the door to the booming Chinese market. And Drive Director James Ward says that means value for buyers.
These cars are produced at such low costs and at a high scale that the European and the US manufacturers can't actually compete like for like. So those governments are imposing tariffs on the importation of cars to protect their industry. We don't have an industry to protect, so the gates are open at the moment and Australian buyers are the ones who benefit.
This BYD Seal is a good example. It's selling in Australia for about $50,000. But if you were to buy it in Europe, you'd be spending more like $90,000 equivalent.
Well, frankly, that's a really, really good story for Australian buyers. We are taking advantage of the value that's being represented in these cars.
Chris Kohler, 9 News.
We have new footage tonight of a house explosion in Virginia in the US, killing one person. Police were on the doorstep of the home when a man lit a basement full of petrol with a flare, leading to an explosion that damaged 10 other houses on the street. And they had front row seats at the rodeo, and the action came to them, a bull jumping out of the ring and into the crowd. In the US state of Oregon, the beast then ran amok behind the stands, tossing one man into the air. 4 people were injured in the chaos. In a WA first, minimum security prisoners in Perth are being given a chance to raise puppies for a worthy cause. A new partnership with Guide Dogs WA, giving inmates a hands-on experience.
Pablo and Pedro, the new prison puppies, calling Baronia home.
To give back to the community and to earn some good karma. There's just no words to explain it, really.
It's a WA first, a new partnership between Guide Dogs WA and Corrective Services, giving inmates the opportunity to work with 2 lovable Labrador pups.
It's only been 3 weeks and they're already doing so well with all of their foundation skills. The women are so dedicated.
All of the opportunities that we are given in here to volunteer our time and our skills to just pay back to the community is I would never have thought it possible of something in a prison system.
The prisoners teaching the puppies basic obedience and socialisation while completing a Certificate 3 in animal studies.
Having animals around, it's that sense of giving back to the animal as well. It's something other than yourself and something to focus on outside of the normal lifestyle in this village.
Pablo and Pedro will remain here at the Minimum Security Centre for the next 14 to 16 months before their temperament will be assessed by Guide Dogs WA to determine the best location for them to undertake their formal training.
Everybody wants to make a positive contribution and know that what they're doing means something. This really means something.
There's nothing but good that can come from this.
Emma Griffiths, 9 News.
Internet price hike warning straight after sport, the simple step to help you save big on your bills. And startling finds, our children's brains are shrinking. We'll tell you what's causing it. But first, Paddy Sweeney is here with Sport. And Paddy, the Dockers are ready to launch into the second half of the year.
We're all hoping so, Tomo. They're refreshed, rejuvenated and have already set the foundations for a return to finals. The September sprint is on, the Dockers eyeing a valuable double chance. A dirty day for the D's, punished by the Pies as Petrarca goes down. And Dockers vice-captain Caleb Sarong believes his side has laid the perfect platform to push for a spot in the top 4. Fremantle, currently sitting 7th, adamant the mid-season break won't halt their momentum ahead of Saturday's clash with the Western Bulldogs.
Heading into the back half of the season with nothing but confidence.
Last year, this time of the year, we didn't really have that opportunity, or we were kind of pushing stuff uphill to try and get there. So it's exciting, and for us, we're just doubling down on us.
In 2023, Freo returning from the break, managing 4 wins from their final 12 games.
This year is a bit different. We've given ourselves a really good chance to build in this second half of the year and to play finals footy and be where we want to be come September time.
The 92-point mauling over Melbourne, their best performance under Justin Longmuir. 13 days between games, but Sarong is adamant the downtime won't stop their charge.
For us, we want to manage momentum both in games and week to week. We want to show up the same after a good win as we do after a tough loss.
A full squad on track, most notably defender Brendan Cox, who could return to Waffle this weekend after hamstring surgery in round 1.
He's got a few boxes to tick this week, but it's not far off. It's been tough for him. He spent a lot of time in the cross-training room and getting to work, but his application to that and his strength program and everything, he's a better athlete for it.
A lighter start to the week for the captain. Positive signs, Nathan O'Driscoll training with the main group, eyeing a return to full fitness from knee surgery.
It was a chance to refresh, and then the last few days has been a really good sign to see the way guys have really applied themselves to training again.
Alexia Pesce, 9 News.
Collingwood is on the cusp of the top 4, sitting outside on percentage following today's 38-point win over the Demons. The reigning premiers are confident star midfielder Nick Dacos has avoided injury after he was subbed out with a leg concern.
On one of the most significant days on the footy calendar.
A fabulous standing ovation for the great man Neil Danaher.
The Flying Pies up to the occasion for Big Freeze 10.
Side bottom's got it all to do here, and he does. What about that?
Winning every term in the polished performance.
Knocking on the door of the top 4, the reigning premiers. Comprehensive.
Even with their biggest star tagged and injured.
Knee on shin.
Good, yeah. Early in the third, I had a knock on the inside, and then later I had a knock on the outside, so it turned into a bit of a dead leg.
Nick Dacos confident he'll be fine for Sunday's Kangaroos clash. Christian Petrarca's fate not looking so good.
Can't help but think this is their season walking off the ground here.
Sent to hospital with suspected cracked ribs. The Pies capitalising on his absence, punishing with their pressure.
Not 15, they've turned it over. Hoskin Elliott to Harrison. Harrison's got 3.
Jack Crisp awarded the Neil Danaher medal for best on ground. 84,000 in the house uniting in the fight against MND. The Blues catapulting to second on the ladder with last night's 26-point win over the Bombers.
Statement made by Carlton.
88,500 fans enjoying the long-awaited battle of the brothers. Harry putting Ben in his place early.
The Mackays, a free kick is going Harry's way. Round the body, Harry slots it. Blues have got a couple.
Mum Tracy unsure which twin to cheer for. The baggers helping Harry secure bragging rights on a night bigger than footy.
It's a special occasion, and the best thing about footy, you can have two supporter bases that may not like each other, but they always come together for a good cause.
Bonnie Rayner, 9 News.
Australian swimming's golden girl Ariarne Titmus has just missed out on breaking her own world record at tonight's Olympic trials. The 23-year-old in a class of her own in the 400-metre freestyle, finishing almost 7 seconds clear, securing her spot at a second Olympics.
The world record's gone, but watch out for the Olympic champs coming back for more gold.
Doesn't matter about what happens here, it's about what happens in 6 weeks' time. So I'm just really happy now to finally tick the box, and my family aren't going to Paris for no reason.
Kaylee McEwen booking her ticket in the 200-metre individual medley, finishing just outside the world record. It'll be a new-look Socceroos tomorrow night. Graham Arnold making a massive 9 changes for their final World Cup qualifier in Perth. The coach not revealing the only 2 players to remain in the starting lineup, but confident his side can still topple Palestine.
It's about winning, but you know, this window for me is also about testing some players and looking at the players in a different way of moving forward.
Australia is undefeated from 5 games, having not conceded a goal. Carlos Alcaraz is now a 3-time Grand Slam champion at just 21 years old.
Knowing that all the tennis, all the Spanish players who have won this tournament and be able to put my name on that amazing list is something unbelievable.
It was a wet and wild day out at the Canadian Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri was bumped off the track almost, but held his nerve, particularly with this manoeuvre, with George Russell finishing 5th.
I don't know if the result necessarily would have been any different, but I think there was a few things in the race where we could have given ourselves a better chance of a better result.
WA's Daniel Ricciardo clawed his way back from 14th, finishing 8th, while Max Verstappen claimed his 60th win of his career. The Boston Celtics are just 2 wins away from an NBA title after recording another convincing win over Dallas. Drew Holiday led the scoring for the hosts, shooting 26 points, but it was a stellar defensive effort from Derek White in the dying moments that sealed the game.
Here's Irving. Washington drives. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derek White.
This would have cut it to 3. That's a potential game-saving play.
The final score was 105-98. The Mavericks will host Game 3 of the series on Thursday. An unlikely combination from Queensland is on the cusp of creating Olympic history. Tera Moana Jr. heads to Paris determined to win Australia's first ever gold medal in boxing, thanks to some life-changing advice from his coach, who's also altering perceptions in the male-dominated sport.
Standing a touch under 2 metres tall, Tera Moana Jr. possesses explosive power. But there's one Queenslander always keeping him in line.
I feel like she's getting the best out of me, and the results are showing.
Trainer Shara Roma sees a personality that belies his towering physique.
Contradiction. He's a beast in the ring, but he is a gentle giant.
They've overhauled the super heavyweight's diet, shedding 15 kilograms to be in the best shape of his life.
I would prefer to eat, 2 more burgers or a couple more steaks, but instead of eating for pleasure, we eat for fuel.
Tera Moana's Olympic dream was sparked 6 years ago following the death of his grandfather.
I know he'd be very proud. Him and my grandmother would be very proud. No one's accomplished this achievement yet in our family.
Winning an Olympic warm-up event in the US reinforced his medal potential for Paris, where he'll have Shara by his side as Australia's first ever female boxing coach at an Olympics.
I hope by pathing a way that the females can look up and say, hey, I want to go that same direction.
Australia has never won Olympic gold in boxing, but this Brisbane duo is used to defying the norm.
I know 100% I'm going to win a medal. It's just what colour's the medal? Probably gold.
Adam Jackson, 9 News.
That's all from me in sport. Some of those Olympic swimming trials going on in Queensland. Ariarne Titmus almost won that by half a length of the pool.
Nearly broke the world record. Kaylee McEwen could have broken. I think she just pulled up. So
we're in good form.
Paris is looking
good. And I say we, but they are in good form.
Absolutely. Paddy, thank you. Our children's shrinking brains due to screen time. That is next. And as internet rates get set to rise, the simple step to keep prices down. And Natalia Cooper, a mix of showers and sunshine this week.
Yes, Tomo, a couple of showery days ahead, then we'll get a sunny break for a couple of days. Your full forecast is coming up.
Parts of children's brains can physically shrink if they spend too much time on social media. Researchers at Macquarie University have found prolonged use has a negative effect on the prefrontal cortex and frontal lobes, which affect abstract thinking and emotional regulation. Scientists say this could increase the chance of cognitive decline later in life. As we bear the brunt of increased power, private health and grocery costs, there's more bill pain on the way. Internet prices are about to rise as part of the NBN's upgraded technology. But there's a simple step that can land you big savings.
Running an online business, there's one thing Naomi Dorland and her family would struggle to live without.
I work from home, my twins are at high school, so everything's very heavily reliant on the internet.
But like many, she's facing internet price hikes come July 1. NBN Co increasing their wholesale costs, which will be passed on to consumers through internet providers.
People may start to pay an extra $4 to $6 a month. Over a year, that adds up to, close to $100, and it's going to hurt Australians at the hip pocket when we're being hit in every direction.
Compare the Market says the first thing customers should do is check your bills. These days, most plans have large or unlimited data allowances, but it's the difference in speed you're paying for.
You may find that you're not using as much internet as you were in the past, so you may want to move to a cheaper plan.
For example, you only need a basic speed if you work or study from home and stream videos in standard definition. A premium speed is for larger households who stream in high definition and have hobbies like online gaming. The difference between the two can be as much as $25 a month.
There's a number of ways that you can cut costs. There are honeymoon deals, so a lot of providers want your business, and it's a very competitive market right now.
While some perks expire after a set time, it's worth checking out current deals. Compare the Market says some incentives include Telstra offering 2 months binge and 4 months Spotify Premium, and Optus including a Netflix standard subscription. Commonwealth Bank customers who are in their yellow program can get between 30 and 40% off more internet plans.
As long as they can offer us a stable, reliable connection and hopefully for a cheaper price, then we'll easily switch.
Kate Lamb, 9 News.
Let's take a look at the price of unleaded petrol across Perth tomorrow. The average will drop to $1.66.2 a litre. It's cheaper still on Marmion Avenue in Alkimos, on North Lake Road in South Lake and on Albany Highway in Bedfordale. History for Australian motorbike rider Harry Bink pulling off a double backflip on Redcliffe Jetty in Queensland. The daredevil had little room for error, quickly hitting the brakes to avoid ending up in the water. It's the first time anyone in the world has successfully completed the trick on a pier. Showers and sunshine are in the forecast this week. Natalia with your weather details next.
Welcome back. It was showery and windy overnight, and today it was rather overcast. We had a low of 15 degrees before climbing to a top of 20, about 10 to 1. Right now in the city, it's sitting on 17.7 degrees, but feels a touch cooler than that. To the charts, and a weakish cold front attached to a low just offshore of Margaret River will bring us showers tomorrow. A rain band will develop late tomorrow into Wednesday, causing falls in the Gascoyne, Goldfields and far northern and eastern parts of the Southwest Land Division. Around the nation tomorrow, sunny and 23 in Brisbane. After a low of 8, Sydney will climb to 19, showers and 16 for Melbourne. Back in the north of WA, sunny and 30 in Broome and Port Hedland. Karratha should hit 27, mostly sunny and 26 in Exmouth, Carnarvon and also Meekatharra. Looking further south, and up to 10 millimetres of rain to fall in Geraldton, while 7 could land in the gauges in Jurien Bay. Bunbury, Augusta and Albany will also see showers. Esperance 20 degrees and Kalgoorlie is looking partly cloudy and 19. On the waters, westerly winds 15 to 20 knots, decreasing to 10 to 15 knots early in the morning, becoming northwesterly to about 10 knots in the afternoon. Seas to 1.5 metres and swell to 3. Around the suburbs tomorrow, showers and 20 for Joondalup, 21 the top in Swanbourne and Fremantle, and Kalamunda is looking at a maximum of 19 degrees. So the official Perth forecast, a partly cloudy day with a very high chance of showers. Between 1 and 4 millimetres is set to fall, 20 the top after a low tonight of 14 degrees. Looking ahead, more showers for Wednesday and another top of 20. Thursday, partly cloudy and 19 degrees. Mostly sunny and 20 the top for Friday. A shower or two later in the day on Saturday. A couple more showers on Sunday and Monday, hitting 20 on both days, and minimum temperatures ranging from 10 to 13. So nice to see a couple of fine days in there, Tomo, in amongst the showers.
And we won't feel guilty about those at all. Natalia, thank you. That is 9 News for this Monday. A current affair is next. Enjoy your evening. Good night.